Hello and welcome to Chinballs Gaming. I am Scop, and today I want to talk to you about Stop Killing Games. So, Stop Killing Games is an initiative to preserve our games for future generations, and at the moment it is on the cusp of having enough signatures to be seen by the EU courts or whoever's going to see it. So, if you can, number one, sign it. So I want to explain to you why this is important to me, and later I'm going to show you two examples. And in my hands I have Call of Duty Black Ops from 2010, and I have the Syndicate reboot of 2012. Now, both of these have significant online components. Syndicate has a co-op mode, and Black Ops has co-op zombies, and also the online component, the multiplayer component. Both of these handle sunsetting very differently, and I will show you those later. First, why is this important to me? Well, if you look behind me, right here, I have computer games here from the last 30 to 40 years, all of which, every single one of them, are still playable. Even the ones that require networking components with the Amiga, etc., whatever. Modern games do not do that. This is a subject that is very important to me. In fact, I've even talked about this at length about 2 years ago with James from Games Revealed, The Brink, and this is what I had to say back then, 2 years ago.
Should game services be allowed to die? So I'm getting fed up, right? I am so fed up. I'm going to list some games now for you. Sorry, I'm taking over.
Go for it.
But so in recent times, these game services have closed, making the games unplayable. Crossfire X, Knockout City, Rumbleverse, Multiverse, Echo VR, Crisis 3 Online, Dead Space 2 Online, lots of FIFA, Battlefield, Bad Company 2.
And the list goes on. The list goes on. And since then, it has only got worse. More and more game services have been shut down, rendering the games completely unplayable. Now, a lot of people have said that this is an unreasonable demand. Well, I want to show you again, this is where the examples come in. I'm going to show you these two games and how different they handle their sunsetting. So, let's fire up my Xbox. So this is Call of Duty Black Ops from 2010, and this game is actually still playable online. But that's not the point. The point is, if they ever did turn off the services, this game is actually safe. The reason being is if I go to the zombies mode here, there's this option called System Link. Now, I've used this mode before when I've had LAN parties, and basically, if you bring multiple consoles onto the same network, you can network them together and you can play the zombies mode. So 4 Xboxes connected together and you can play 4-player zombies. In fact, you can do it with 2 Xboxes, because this is what we used to do. Link up 2 Xboxes and you can play 4-player zombies via split screen on each console. And the same goes for the multiplayer. You can do the same for the multiplayer. So you can have a multiplayer game of Call of Duty Black Ops, unrestricted, all the maps, all the weapons and everything, and you can play it as long as all the consoles are on the same network. And that is all we're really asking. We're not asking for the service to stay online, we are asking for the game to be in a playable state. Call of Duty Black Ops is safe. Even if the servers are completely switched off, we will always be able to play them locally. True, we can't play them online, but that's not the point. The point was never to keep the servers online. The point was to give us the ability to play it ourselves. Now, if we contrast that with the other game that I brought, so you might be able to see now which one's a good example and which one's the bad example. So now this is Syndicate. Now, Syndicate didn't do so well, it didn't receive great reviews, and I don't think it sold very well. And the single player, I wouldn't say it isn't very good, but I really enjoyed the co-op multiplayer. So I've recently been playing FBC Firebreak, which is a co-op game set in the Control universe, and you know what, it reminds me a lot of the Syndicate co-op. And if I come to the Syndicate co-op, what happens? Connecting to the Syndicate server. We are sorry, but the servers for this title have been shut down. Thank you very much for playing. That is a massive FU. Yeah? There's no way to play this at all. I can't even play it single player. That's the difference. That is the difference. Call of Duty Black Ops. I can always play the multiplayer game. Solo, locally, networked. Syndicate co-op. I will never be able to play this again. So, what could EA have done to allow Syndicate to be played again, to be sunsetted properly, so we could enjoy this game for future generations. And yes, enjoy it. I really did enjoy Syndicate. All they needed to do was enable System Link. They surely did this when they were testing the game internally, because there was no way they would be connecting to external servers whilst testing this game. There will have been, I would wager that there will have been a network version of this game internally at EA that they were playing themselves. All they needed to do was enable that for us. So games like these, the only thing they need the servers for is for the matchmaking. And when that turns off, they just brick the entire things. But if you're playing locally, you don't need matchmaking. All you need is to link up the systems. They could have easily done that. If they'd have built that in to start with, then we could have played Syndicate forever. I could have at least. No one else wants to do, but I do. So that is the difference. We're not asking for the service to stay online forever. You don't need to do that. All you need to do is give us the ability to either, one, run the servers ourselves, or two, just have a LAN mode. It's simple as that. You don't have to do any server maintenance at all. You don't need to keep anything alive. You don't have to deal with giving us any service code, because there isn't any, because it's peer based. Because most games are peer based, and that is it. So if you do live in Europe or in the UK or anywhere that these petitions are currently running, please go and check them out. So thank you to Russ for spearheading this. I talked about this 2 years ago, and it quite honestly fell on deaf ears. I am just a small YouTuber. I don't have the reach to inform people of these things, but literally that is the difference. I hope these two examples show you how that works. If you can, please sign the initiative, either the UK one or the EU one, depending on where you live. It is very important. You don't imagine coming to your bookshelf of games, pulling them out, and in 20 years' time, and the game saying, we can't play because we can't find a server. That is just not acceptable. Not acceptable at all. Do not accept it. Right. Bye.